deter, detect, and then deny. We want our house to be a deterrent first and foremost. The next thing we want to do is be able to detect criminal activity and then thereafter also deny. Hey guys, it's David Acosta. I'm here with Fieldcraft Survival. We are here this weekend in sunny Arizona. We're at this lovely little Airbnb. Figured we'd take the opportunity to kind of talk to you all about home defense. So let's talk about some principles. First things first, we'll talk about the first three principles of how we approach this security setup, if you all will, or protocol. And that is, we want our house to be a deterrent first and foremost. So the appearance should be one that deters criminal activity. The next thing we want to do is be able to detect criminal activity and then thereafter also deny, right? So we'll talk about those three principles, deter, detect, and then deny. As far as the first principle, as it pertains to deterring, how is your home set up, the appearance therein, a deterrent for criminal activity or from criminal activity? One of the things we want to talk about from a bullet point perspective, if we're going to break this down, we'll go into it individually thereafter, is first and foremost, we'll talk about maintenance, right? So maintenance of the home. We'll talk about lighting. We'll talk about cameras, security, and then we'll talk about gating and fencing, okay? So one of the first things we like to bring up is under the principle of deterrence is the aspect of maintenance, lawn care, all those little things. What am I doing on a regular basis that keeps everything neat and tidy, that tells anyone looking at my home that I pay attention to details? This all helps. The maintenance aspect also helps from the perspective of if you have vegetation in front of the home. A lot of times we do this with the aspect of creating shade or creating a specific vibe or feel. I want to make sure that those things are well groomed and maintained, so much so that it does not impede my visual ability of seeing outside the home. Next thing, I want to talk about lighting, right? When we generally look at statistics on criminal behavior, especially burglaries, things of that nature, we think about hours of darkness. Bad things happen in the dark. So do I have ample lighting? Is the lighting, again, going to act as a deterrent from someone trying to conduct criminal activity at my home? We're paying attention to where we put lights, how we position them, how they're set up, right? I want lights facing out as well as lights facing back in on the home. This makes it difficult for somebody making an approach, trying to make an approach surreptitiously. Next thing, we want to look at gates, right? So gating and fencing is another deterrent. When I look at the bars on the windows and things of that nature, it's like, all right, that's gonna be really tough to get into. It automatically acts as a deterrent. It also acts as a form of denial as well thereafter. Let's also talk about cameras, right? So security cameras. Are there overt signs that say like, hey, this house has surveillance cameras or security features, right? If I look up on top of here, we see there's cameras here. What kind of cameras are they? Do they see in the day? Do they see in the night? Do they do both? What's the position of the cameras? Ideally, I like one on each corner of the house facing opposite directions, and then doubled up on each corner if it needs to be, right? You have to look at it overall based on layout and design of your home, but having overt cameras nice and high give me a bird's eye view of what's going on. It also makes it difficult to interfere with, right? Covert cameras. I like covert cameras at like the ring, like the doorbell setup, right? I want overt cameras at eye level. Overt cameras at eye level essentially act as a form of identification of individuals who are unmasked, that also translate thereafter to having the ability to potentially prosecute if we can positively identify perpetrators. All right, so moving on to the next principle, right? Detect. What are things that I have set up specifically that are going to aid in detecting criminal activity at the home? We already talked about the cameras, motion lights, all those attributes, the lighting, all those things aid in my ability to detect criminal activity, right? Especially when I have notifications that are going to my phone, notifications that are audible inside the home, all the different technological devices that aid in that, right? They have motion sensors for specific or audible motion sensors, wherein if I break a specific area, motion is detected in that area, there's an audible sound inside the home that gives notice. Just no different like when you walk inside the store, the little shop. As soon as you go through the front door, the motion detection device, whether it's hooked up to the actual door or a beam that you walk past through, basically lets shop owners know that there's somebody inside the home or inside the business. Same thing can be set up at the home. Something as simple as a dog tells us, right? Like if your dog is one of those little mean dogs that barks when everybody walks by, it's again another form of detection. All those things help. Next principle, deny. One of the things that are going to aid in denying access is fencing, gating, right? And deny is kind of subjective, right? It's only going to deny a specific person and for a specific amount of time. But things like this, right? The barred, gated exterior storm door, it's again a form of denial. The locks on the doors, all forms of denial. We're going to go inside the home and talk about more aspects of the denial principle that translate again to overall defending of the home. All right, so let's move on to denial, right? When we talk about denial, we're saying what are things that we can do to fortify the specific position, right? So the home, right? So the front door, what can I do to fortify this that makes it far more difficult for the individual who genuinely is determined to get inside? What can we do to make this more difficult, make more noise, give them a harder time, which buys me time on my end from a detection perspective, as well as denying them easy access, right? If we give any one person enough time with the right tools, if they have the right understanding of how to defeat a specific barricade, they can beat it in time or go to a softer point. So the type of locking mechanisms, the type of door, what kind of a door is it? Is it hollow core? Is it a solid wood door? Is it a steel door? Is it a hollow steel door? All those things matter. Are we denying access via specific entry points? When we talk about windows, windows are generally soft. They break easily. Obviously, they make noise in doing so. So it comes down to the perpetrator that you're trying to defend against, if you will, right? The perpetrator who does not want to be caught generally doesn't want to make noise. The perpetrator who does not care about being caught thereafter, that's a harder foe, right? So one of the things we'd like to do is deny visibility. So it could be just by simply closing blinds, using curtains. They also make film, tinted glass film, that allows you to tint the glass, denying visual ability to see inside the home, things of that nature. Obviously, again, there's redundancies in this entire process. When we start talking about detection, when we talk about deterring, when we talk about denying access, there are multiple layers to this. They are redundant in nature, and that's a good thing when it comes down to safety, right? We want redundancies when it comes to safety. It just increases our adaptability and our survivability thereafter. So if you have questions in relation to anything that we discussed here, obviously we did it for the sake of brevity. But if you have questions, comment below. We'll talk about it, get dialogue going. This is not the end all be all by any means. Just trying to provide you guys with some quick solutions based on home defense. Guys, again, it's David Acosta with Fieldcraft Survival. Hope you guys like this brief tidbit on home defense. We'll talk about more of this going forward in the future. Like, follow, subscribe, all that helps. For that and more, go to fieldcraftsurvival.com. Check us out, check out the page, sign up for a course. We're here to help you.